In its many years of programming for national development, Towards a Greater Nigeria has had every reason to be grateful for the caliber of resource persons that it has played host to. It's been a harvest of rich sound bites. So, when it knocked on the doors of the Petroleum Products Pricing and Regulatory Agency, PPPRA, it was yet another effort to bring the activities of an agency at the heart of the Nigerian economy into well-deserved limelight. The pricing regime for petroleum products in Nigeria is not a walk in the park. In an economy where the citizenry are encouraged by government to try to understand that all policies are key to improving the life of every Nigerian, care is taken to ensure that everyone, up to the man in the street, is part of the journey to more and more awareness and development. Federal ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, are therefore made to work tirelessly to keep the people's spirited trust in government very strong. In the last edition on PPPRA, we said that the agency falls in the category of MDAs that have become for Nigerians a service-oriented platform whose activities are a catalyst for keeping the engine of the national economy running. The PPPRA's work is so relevant to daily life that a single moment of thought of the economy without it amounts to dangerous thinking. And need anyone wonder why this has become the case? Petroleum products are to Nigerians the lifeline to prosperity, the reason to endeavor, and the main driver of reward for effort. Let's have the Executive Secretary of the agency, Abdul Kadir Seidu, go through the origin of this all-important agency again.
PPPRA was established by an Act of National Assembly, which is Act number 8 of May 2003. It has the following key mandates amongst others: to determine the pricing policy of petroleum products, to regulate the supply and distribution of petroleum products, to create an information data bank through liaison with all relevant agencies to facilitate the making of informed, realistic decisions in pricing policies.
The PPPRA owes the effective handling of its assignment to so many factors, but what has stood out as its undeniable driving force is the relationship it shares with its parent ministry. Under the leadership of Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Emmanuel Ibekachiku, the ship has never lacked good compass, and all the departments and agencies of the ministry have had good reason to be grateful for the ministry's purposeful direction. Yet, it is not a smooth ride all the time in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. Moments arise when men and women in the ministry have to stand solid at the duty post, working assiduously to thwart a looming issue or stave off a challenging one. A case in point is the fuel queues the ministry battled with towards the end of last year and the first quarter of 2018. That challenge affected the prices of products at the time, a matter at the heart of the price regulation regime of the PPPRA. Here's the minister on the business of arriving at appropriate pricing for petroleum products.
Once there is a gap between the price at which the product lands and the price at which you sell, an effective subsidy kicks in. If you can fund the subsidy, well and good, and every country can decide as a rule that it wants to fund subsidy. But it is not a conventional thing. Everybody, Saudi Arabia, all the UAE countries are out of a subsidy. Everybody, what people tend to do is to moderate the pricing so that you are sure that people are not being taken advantage of. and they're doing best efforts to ensure that efficiency is put in and pricing stays low. But you cannot, as a conscious policy, just say you're just going to keep rolling out, the funding so that people can buy. A man for me who buys a 2 to 3 million naira car must be willing to pay fuel to get a car rolling. I understand all the arguments about transporters and food prices. I think a lot of it is psychological, and that over a period of time you'll find that if you put the right process in place, it does not necessarily amount to increase in price. But we did that increase in price. It saved this country over $1 trillion in savings. It took away the subsidy at the time. We got more efficient. We were able to save more money, and fuel queues disappeared for 2 years. But then, of course, the twin cap that I wear is, one is to make prices go up internationally. The other one is how to keep it down locally, and sometimes they just don't match.
They don't match.
So the more I succeeded with the OPEC mix, the more it became a problem, and so that gap. When we had during the price increase, we had put a process of modulation, which would have enabled prices to go up and down depending on the prices. Unfortunately, we didn't execute the modulation arm of it, and so that's what came home to roost and to haunt us eventually.
The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources captures the fountain of all the commendable performance by the ministry's departments and agencies, including the PPPRA. It is anchored on regular meetings and all other forms of interaction arranged for purpose and result.
There are some structures on ground, administrative structures on ground to ensure and to help also in the coordination. One of this is the monthly meetings, governance meetings that we have with the parastatals, and all the CEOs of the parastatals come together, and the minister and myself sit down with them, and we deal with issues, especially on the tracking of the 7 big wins. The parastatals also have a big part to play in the success of the 7 big wins. So we try to track progress on that too, especially at the governance meetings. And when there are thorny issues, we deal with that also at those meetings. That doesn't mean that when the CEOs have issues, they can't just come into the ministry. No, they come in very, very regularly, and we all work as a very big team, as a happy family.
The vibrant downstream regulation that the PPPRA is trusted with has hugely impacted activity in a country where those who consume petroleum products appreciate the transparency with the agency's operations currently exude. There is an erroneous impression that the deregulation with the agency has been part of implementing is strictly about price modulation or adjustment. The agency, apart from needing to bring about reasonable parity between the landing cost of products and what they eventually get sold for, is further interested in smooth entry and exit for persons who do business with it, or any other affiliate of the ministry for that matter. But returning to the duties of the PPPRA, the Executive Secretary has a list of what the agency has been engaging in.
PPPRA ensured efficient supply and distribution of petroleum products nationwide, following the commencement of appropriate pricing framework regime. We ensured sustenance of PMS availability nationwide at a regulated pump price. We further maintained effective management and supply and distribution of regulated petroleum products, which means we are talking of AGO and DPK being the deregulated products were available throughout the year at market-determined prices. Prices of these products at the retail outlets varied from location to location, depending on the period of the year and the interplay of market forces, which is demand and supply. Generation of reliable data on demand and availability of petroleum products for national use, which include average daily demand, daily stock position, periodic volume discharge. The above provides true picture of volumes received, volumes trucked out, for distribution and volumes available in stock nationwide.
The downstream is the preoccupation of the PPPRA. Seidu really goes downstream to list the achievements of his agency.
On this, I would like to say we have achieved enhanced commercial viability of the downstream petroleum subsector through robust policy implementation resulting in investments in the downstream infrastructure. This happened through investment by some key players and further vertical integration of the downstream value chain. For instance, in April 2017, MRS Oil Nigeria Limited PLC commissioned an ultra-modern jetty with the ability to berth 80,000 to 120,000 metric tons capacity vessel. ASPM Limited, a subsidiary of OVH, launched a midstream jetty in Lagos with the capacity to berth vessels with up to 45,000 metric tons deadweight. 45,000. Another example is that of Petrolex, which commissioned an ultra-modern 300 million liter capacity depot in December 2017. And then construction of the 650,000 barrels refinery belonging to Dangote, which is ongoing, is another achievement. In the area of filling stations, NNPC Retail, AA Rano, Azman Petroleum, Emadeb Energy, AY Shafa, Ren Oil, and several others constructed additional retail outlets across the country in the course of the year. In view of the enabling environment created, it is expected that more investment activities will be witnessed in 2018 and beyond.
The clamor for renewable energy solutions has gathered pace at the PPPRA, just like other relevant bodies within the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources. General Manager, Corporate Services, Olashukbo Agbaje, gives a clear picture of this.
Having taken a cue from the overall federal government objective of diversifying the energy base of Nigeria, the Executive Secretary, upon assumption of office, strengthened the department that is called the Gas and Renewable Energy Department of the agency. Basically, the objective of this department is to ensure the promotion of the usage of alternative sources of energy derived from gas and some other renewable energy sources, such as biofuels and other renewables. Government is committed to this, and based on the strengthening of this department by the Executive Secretary, a lot has happened in the agency in the last several months. Serious emphasis and attention is given to the development of LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, as an alternative source of energy, both for domestic, for vehicular, and other uses. So as an agency, we are working with all other agencies of government, NNPC, the Office of the Vice President, DPR, and all the other agencies that have one role or the other to play in ensuring the attainment of this objective. So we work together as a team towards ensuring that the policy objective of government is realized. So we're looking at, in the years ahead, we'll have a situation in Nigeria where the utilization of petrol, diesel, and all other sources of energy that we currently import today will be replaced and substituted by energy sources that are more locally available, that are more friendly and environmentally sustainable. That's our objective.
Give a sigh of relief when we get to that.
That's our.
Olashukbo further says the huge jump in the number of active depots to about 120 across Nigeria is something to commend. The number had hovered around 30 prior to the establishment of the PPPRA. The Corporate Services General Manager says a constant reminder from the Executive Secretary is the need to concentrate on the interest of the Nigerian in whatever service PPPRA officials push out. Quality service at the right price should never be compromised. For his part, General Manager, Admin and Human Resources Teddy Okonkwo said the coming of the current Executive Secretary has brought more verve into training of staff. A case in point is the training for cargo inspectors. He is also happy about the kind of coverage the PPPRA has across the nation. No zone is left out.
Thanks a lot. We are spread in all the 6 geopolitical zones, and more than that. Because right now, our staff can tell you the discharges going on around the country. We have zonal offices in Lagos that covers the southwest and environments. We have in the Port Harcourt that covers the south and environments, and we have in Kaduna that covers the whole of the north. So at any point in time, we can tell you what is being discharged in all the facilities and how the products are going to be moved to Lagos and its environments.
For you to be able to discharge your duty, hearing you talk, you must have adequate data.
Of course, we have our data is very robust.
Talking about computerization.
Yes. It's computerized. You can even go to the website and see some of our data and so on. They're not hidden. The operations are doing very, very well. And we have a data unit, and we are still training our staff on the data collection.
The General Manager, Corporate Planning, Olusoji Sholoye, says the efficiency the federal government wants through improved technology is a matter PPPRA is taking seriously in 2018.
In line with the vision of the Chief Executive, taking a cue from that of the federal government of Nigeria, for 2018, we intend that the agency will be self-sustaining, that's self-funding. We want to leverage on technology because we are so vast in data collection and management. So we know that technology will be the chief driver of that in the downstream. We want to be proactive in most of our activities in the year 2018. It's not as if we have not been proactive, but we know that our stakeholders, which are numerous, are always looking up to PPRA to be able to give some, to take their investment decisions. So we intend to make data available to them on a timely basis. So we are going to leverage on technology in the year 2018.
Sholoye re-echoed the capacity building the PPPRA is engaged in by the training of certified cargo inspectors. For the Executive Secretary of the PPPRA, Abdul Kadiri Seidu, no amount of work done by his team would pick up the desired impact and relevance if the creed of working as synergy with departments and agencies outside PPPRA is not undertaken. He was practically saying that no one succeeds alone.
I would like to say here that we maintain a cordial relationship with the relevant agencies and stakeholders. For example, we maintain a very good relationship with the NNPC, DPR, Petroleum Equalization Fund, and all the other stakeholders, just to mention a few. In addition to that, I would like to also say that the composition of the board of PPPRA is made up of representation from the important stakeholders within the industry and even outside the industry. We have representation from the Labour Congress, from the organized unions. We have the TUC, we have the NLC, we have the Pengasan. Then on the other areas, we have the MOMAN, we have the DAPMA, we have the Manufacturers Association. All the relevant stakeholders are on the board of PPPRA, and I would gladly say we are enjoying their support in what we are doing.
No serious nation, to be very honest, is going to spend all its time tracking
how many liters of product is going to be policed by one national agency. No, that's what the private sector is for. And we're going to have to work hard to move the diagram, quite frankly, towards the private sector and get them to do what they were set up naturally to do. Because once they do that, they relieve NNPC of the sort of burdens that they are carrying, and they can focus on the areas that generate a lot more resources for this country. And that's what it is. So I supervised NNPC as GMD before I became both when I was appointed Minister of State and later on when I began to hold that authority separately. I didn't think my problem in NNPC was one of capacity. There were lots of people with very substantially high level capacity, comparable to any in the industry, and I worked in private industry for about 30 years. On the contrary, I think that they carry burdens that do not align with logic and international norms. That's the problem. And until you begin to move, quite frankly, to the equilibrium of business ethics and what we do and how businesses are structured, you're going to continue to have this problem. So I think my key problem and my key work will be to continue to work with all of them, not just NNPC, with DPR, with everybody, to see how we begin to constantly migrate out from what has been the established 3 to 4 decades of business models which no longer work all over the world. And once we can do that, we're going to find that things begin to improve. Some of the restructuring that we did was on the basis of that.
Abdul Kadir Seidu takes it all home by saying what his ultimate hopes for PPPRA are.
I would like to see a vibrant, more efficient, proactive, result-oriented, and self-sustaining agency.
And going by the current stability in the supply of petroleum products as against how the year started off, Seidu and his team are already a winning squad. They have succeeded in telling Nigerians that help in the PPPRA and ultimately the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources is not help misplaced. The days ahead are ones of mutual benefit to both the provider of an affordable price regime for petroleum products and the consumer of these services.